Hello, my name is Joshua Keith, and this is theburningcoal.com, a website dedicated to God's glory, His grace, and our response to it. Today we're going to be doing another Monday motivation, and for this week what we want to focus on is expressing joy. Now, the verse we're going to take a look at is one that's very well known. It's Philippians 4, verse 4. It says, "Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice." I find this passage in particular very interesting because Paul usually has no problem being very expansive in the way that he describes things. But here, he's very straightforward and to the point. Rejoice in the Lord always. If you didn't catch it, let me just say this again, guys. Rejoice. The idea of being people of joy was something that was important to Paul. And so it's one of the things that he emphasizes, not just once, but very directly twice, just says, you need to be someone who rejoices. So this week we need to focus on having that mindset of rejoicing. That happens even in difficult circumstances. As we always know when we look at this passage, Paul was in prison at the time of this writing. And so typically if we would think that, hey, things are not right in my life, and I know Paul said rejoice, but it's pretty rough right now, and I don't think he meant in that circumstance. But Paul did mean in that circumstance. It didn't matter in what circumstance. Again, Paul says, rejoice in the Lord always. Come good or come bad. Either one, you're going to rejoice. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important to focus on God's blessings, why we take the time to be thankful to God in our prayers. Because when we look around at the world, there is a lot that is going wrong. And even when we look in our own lives, we can find things that are not what we would want them to be. And if we're careful, that becomes our focus. And all we focus on is what's not right, what's not positive. But Paul had the mindset of focusing on blessings. No matter what situation he found himself in, he said, well, there's good this way or there's good that way. No matter what, it's going to be okay because God's blessings can be found no matter what. And so if we're struggling with being someone who's joyful, and again, if we're having difficult times, we need to take a step back and look at the blessings that God has provided us and use those to refocus our minds on the joy that we're supposed to have. And make no mistake about it, it's something that we're supposed to have, and it's something that should be a sign of our faith in God. When other people know us, do they think of you as a joyful person? Obviously, there are a lot of different ways to express joy. But overall, are you someone who is complaining? Are you unhappy? Do you always find the negative in every single circumstance? Or are you somebody who is joy, who, come what may, you're going to focus on the good that God has put in your life and the opportunities that even the hardest circumstances can build? If you are somebody who is going to claim to be a Christian, let the world see your joy. That way they can understand why it's such a blessing to serve our Creator. Because again, we can be joyful in anything. Anybody can be grumpy, anybody can be unhappy, anybody can complain. But not us. We will be joyful. I hope this lesson blesses you in your walk in His kingdom.